It's time for KC Cares, Kansas City's nonprofit voice. We're telling the stories of Kansas City nonprofits and the people behind them. You know, KC Cares is that intersection of the nonprofit and profit communities, making Kansas City a better place to live, work, and play. This KC Cares segment is brought to you by the Ewing Marion Kaufman Foundation, www.kaufman.org. I'm Ruth Baum-Biggis. Kansas City's art community is active and thriving, and one of the key players making things happen is ArtsKC. This nonprofit supports the regional art and cultural community through programs, advocacy, and investment. Part of its mission is working to make the arts accessible for all. It's been a while since we caught up with ArtsKC, so joining us today is Dana Knapp. She's president and CEO, and Linda Williams, who's overseeing a new program for the organization called The Drop. Welcome back.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ruth, for having us.
You bet. And first, welcome, Linda.
Hi. Nice to be with you today. Linda Williams.
Nice to be with you. So let's roll in first, Dana. Let's refresh the audience about what ArtsKC does. And then we'll pull Linda in because she's really wearing triple hats.
That is true. And Ruth, thank you. You did a ideal and wonderful lead in. I will just reinforce ArtsKC. We have dedicated the last 25 years to supporting the arts and culture ecosystem across the Kansas City metro region. We promote, support, and advocate for the arts. So we are a foundational service organization. We ourselves do not present and perform. We support those who do. And so we promote the arts, and we really work hard to make the arts, or ensure that the arts and the transformative power of the arts are available to all. We support the arts, and we do that through investment. And we not only demonstrate that through our own grant making and stipend programs, we incite others, businesses, civic organizations, and individuals to invest in the arts. And last but not least, as you mentioned, we advocate for the arts. And that really is about helping our elected officials, municipalities, counties, state, federal governments understand that it's important that they also support and invest, but also we bring the arts to the table through civic engagement across sectors, how the arts can impact and improve healthcare outcomes, entrepreneurship, the role that the arts and culture community play in sparking innovation in business. So that's kind of ArtsKC in brief. And we're excited today to be with you to talk about economic impact, as well as a new fabulous program that Linda is leading.
Before we jump over to Linda, as I was preparing for the show today, you all gave me a number that was incredible in terms of the dollar impact. I'm going to let you share that.
Absolutely. So just a moment of background. ArtsKC, we are the local arts agency. So we work with local, state, and federal governments to ensure or help to ensure that there's ample support in our ecosystem. And one role that we play, and we work alongside the Americans for the Arts, is a regular study that measures the economic impact of the arts in our region and across the nation. So we represent our metro region. And over the course of 2022, we conducted the Arts and Economic Prosperity study. And the numbers rolled out last year, and we are in the process of sharing these numbers with everyone else. The total economic impact of the nonprofit 501c3 arts and culture community is $615 million a year. So if you kind of back out of that for a moment, again, that's the nonprofit arts and culture sector, which comprises the vast majority of arts and culture organizations. but it does not include individual artists. And so if you kind of conceptualize individual artists and for-profit arts and culture organizations alongside our very powerful 501c3 arts and culture organization, the arts and culture contribution to our regional economy is remarkable.
That's huge.
$615 million. And if you look at this alongside, let's say, the World Cup, they are projecting that in that, say, 30 to 40 day span, the World Cup will bring $600 million worth of economic impact. Well, our nonprofit arts organizations bring that year over year over year.
That's tremendous. Woohoo! Go arts. Go arts for sure. Well, I want to bring Linda in, and you have a very specific role, but I would love to get back to just talking arts in general, because Linda wears multiple hats.
I do.
So share with us the hat you wear and this new endeavor with ArtsKC.
So one of the first hats that I wear is I am a co-founder of a small business, a small arts business, KC Melting Pot Theater. The other hat that I wear is I'm an active participant in my neighborhood association, and I live in the Key Coalition neighborhood. And the hat that I'm representing today and wear is that I am a member of the ArtsKC staff. And my job there was to help develop an access ticketing program. And this program is all about breaking down barriers that keep people from participating in the arts. And it's not, I'm a theater person, but this program is not all about theater. It's actually about the arts in a much broader sense. So this program breaks down or helps break down the number one barrier, which is cost. And that is a national statistic. It's not, specific to Kansas City, but cost is one of the biggest barriers. There are other barriers. There are barriers that have to do with transportation, and transportation is huge. So it's not one of the barriers that we have the ability to have a huge impact on, but we do some things that help people with that barrier and being able to participate in local arts. One of the other biggest barriers is a sense of belonging. We are trying to not only break down cost and help people get to arts activities, but we also are trying to increase audience across the board. And when you increase those audiences, you have folks who are participating that haven't participated as much as others. And so they don't know what's expected of them. Sometimes they don't know things about the venue. And so we're working with local arts organizations to help educate those new folks who are coming in so that they feel welcome and that they feel like they're a part of the arts community and of the arts scene, and that they are, welcome to come back and participate more frequently. Now, go ahead. I'll take a breath and let you ask any questions.
Well, first of all, jazz hands. Love that. We have full disclosure. I'm an arts theater nerd, so that is, not something that's, it's great. I love it. But I think as sometimes a participant, we get a little, we get blinders. We don't realize outside of our little bubble that not everybody else is in the bubble. So thinking that way, who are we talking about providing this access to, and who's not present? And ArtsKC would love to have present at the various arts activities we have here.
Yeah, so you can find, and we found that there are people in all communities, all demographics who don't actively participate in the arts. They have a lot of things on their plate right now.
Mhm.
So we're looking really just to engage with the folks who haven't engaged very actively. We focus on, of course, communities that have not participated because of, I won't say not being invited, but just because they may not have been marketed to, or they may not have been seen as a group of individuals that would like to participate in things like the symphony or things like jazz music or even theater, right? So
Mhm.
we really try to focus the program to those individuals who have not been active participants, and that can be across the city.
So, how are you doing that? How are you doing that outreach? How are you extending that invitation, as it were?
So that's one of the unique parts about the program is we structured this program so that we reach out to the individuals we're trying to get to participate through people and organizations that they trust. So we have engaged with what we call our community ambassadors, and it's organizations who work with folks on a regular basis. And we've asked those ambassadors to help us connect with those communities and connect with those individuals. So our arts ambassadors help us talk about the program. They help us distribute what we call membership cards. And those membership
Ah,
cards are what allow you to get into the program. And with the membership cards, one of the things that we found extremely important is not to ask people too much, right? Too much personal data because it can be a turnoff to
mhm.
participation. So, by using those arts ambassadors, we know that they're connected to the people who are not participating in the program as frequently. It was also important to us to get into a space where a lot of people, I won't say pretty much everyone, but is pretty open to the public. And so we partner with the Kansas City Public Libraries.
Ah.
They are one of our core ambassadors. So each of the branches is one of our core ambassadors.
Can anybody join the program? Or is it really segmented? And, if I go there after we're done today, can I join the draw?
You can. If you go to the library and get a card that allows you to come into the program, or if you work with a community ambassador. Now, we initially, when we started the program, we were utilizing zip codes to try and identify ambassadors that we wanted to work with. And, this program is fantastic and we have funding, that allows us to do this. But we do have to kind of have some ways for folks to connect, and that is through our ambassadors.
We're talking with Linda Williams and Dana Knapp with ArtsKC and this new program called The Drop, trying to get more folks access to the arts in Kansas City. How's it going so far? What are you seeing? Are people participating? And if so, where are they showing up?
So we began the pilot. We did a year-long pilot of the program. We began that in January of this year. And since
Okay.
since January, we have over 2,000 tickets purchased, and
Wow.
purchased by over 1,600 members of the DROP program. We're seeing that about 50% of the people who participate are actually new. So those folks have not been to that organization before. So that really speaks to increasing audiences.
So Dana, this is a funded program. You're in pilot.
Right.
Drive down the street for us, and what's the hope?
Absolutely. This is a partnership with the Block Foundation. So let me back up just a moment. First and foremost, we spent about a year doing a feasibility study. There are many access ticket programs across the US and in Western Europe, and we studied those. We learned over the course of that year all the great things about access ticket programs, but we also learned from all of these generous program managers what to avoid and the challenges they faced. And so we chose to lean into a pilot approach. So we wanted to grow this fairly slowly because we're in this for the long game. And we wanted to test our assumptions in our own community. And so, as Linda said, we launched the pilot in January, kind of quietly and slowly. And we have learned an enormous amount, both from our arts organization participants, but also from our ambassadors and the users, those members that we've brought on board. So we look forward to launching the whole program, if you will, informed by all that we've learned, the first of next calendar year. And that will open it up to more arts organizations, also more ambassadors, and you'll see a lot more visibility from the marketing and communications and PR standpoint at that time. One thing I want to really highlight here, and this is one of the learning points that we gained from other programs. ArtsKC is deeply, as is the Block Foundation, deeply committed to advancing and broadening and growing audiences, but not to the detriment of the 501c3 arts organizations that we mentioned earlier. So what is unique about the DROP program compared to all other programs, I think we're first out of the gate here, is that we do not ask arts organizations to donate their tickets. We partner with the arts organizations, we offer $10 tickets to the members, and then we reimburse the arts organizations for the difference up to $50. So what we're trying to do here is work very hard through these unique channels to bring new and diverse audiences to the table. Successfully, I might add, based on our pilot, and then also create a reliable revenue stream for our 501c3 arts organizations, many of whom are still really trying to stand themselves up after the pandemic. And so I will just, I guess, close by saying we are grateful because of all the programs we studied. We've been able to glean their intelligence and Linda's wisdom to really build a program that we believe is both sustainable and transformative.
Well, I think a huge point I want to go back to is the fact you're not asking for donated tickets.
No.
You have funding so that the arts organization, is staying the course with their ticketing. Kudos to the Block Foundation.
Yes.
To be able to make that happen. Linda, I wanted to go to you. What have you learned in this short time that Dana alluded to from your ambassadors and just in running the program thus far?
Oh, I don't know if I can actually capture that in the next few minutes. I've learned so many things. But one of the things that I have, it wasn't really learned because, like Dana said, we studied a whole bunch of different programs. But one thing that I think we got right in this program is really, excuse me, really utilizing and reaching out to ambassadors and having them be the conduit to reach the communities that don't participate very well. Um, it's really important that the folks who are getting those folks to engage are people that are loved and trusted in
Mhm.
in the neighborhoods already. And so I think we did really well in that approach to the program, is utilizing those ambassadors to help us do that outreach.
How did you choose your ambassadors? I mean, was there an application process? You know, how do you do that?
No, it really wasn't an application process. Of course, we had contacts that we wanted to work with, like the libraries that we thought would have great reach, and other organizations. And we're working on both the Kansas and the Missouri side. So we really were reaching out to organizations that we knew in both of those communities. But
Right.
the other part was really just having conversations with different organizations who we knew and we researched that were in, the communities that we were trying to reach out to, and just having conversations with them and asking them to help us. And as the program gained, some visibility, then we had a lot of folks reaching out to us saying, I've heard about the program. I work with this community. I think it would be a great, advantage to get my community to participate. And so we've then recruited additional ambassadors that way.
Dana, who are the organizations that are part of this? We really kind of skipped over that in the beginning because not every nonprofit theater, music, visual art venue. So who are they and how did you choose them?
Well, they're from large organizations like Starlight, who has benefited dramatically this last summer in bringing well over 50% of the members new. Let me back up. More than 50% of the ticket purchasers through Starlight were new participants. So large organizations like Starlight to small community-based organizations like Ice Dance Studio. So what we did is we selected over 20 arts and culture organizations that were very representative of the ecosystem. And the reason we did that was so we could kind of take the temperature and understand how a variety of organizations could interact with the program. So it's almost like a diverse sample size, if you will. And so we learned a lot from our large arts organizations like the Nelson and Starlight. And then we also learned a lot from our small organizations like Ice Dance Studio or Cherry Pit Collective. And then we had some mid-size, like the KC Rep, for example. So I think at the right now we're sitting at 22, 23 organizations. Linda, please pipe in.
Yes. And I can't name them all off of the top of my head, but they are listed on our drop website. So that can be found from our ArtsKC.org website. But right now, Dana named some of them. So we also have the Lyric Theater is a participant, Casey Melting Pot Theater, Spinning Tree Theater. Let me see if I can get some. I know I'm going to forget some folks. But
that's okay. You don't have to name them all. So right now there are 23. Dana, as you move forward into hopefully the calendar year, the drop is beyond the pilot. Right. Are you going to embrace everybody? I mean, and everybody is a huge number. So
it is. So I think what's important to understand is part of Linda's responsibility and her expertise is to help curate what we call the drop calendar. So, each month, quarter looking forward, there'll be a selection of events that will queue up through the drop and be promoted through the drop. She will work with arts organizations across the region to make sure there is a rich mix of opportunity, from community and family-based classes up to access to the Nelson, Shakespeare, and others. So the answer to your question is yes. Ultimately, we really aspire to embrace everyone, but not every event will be on the calendar 100% of the time. Part of breaking down those barriers is also kind of curating an introduction to a rich variety of events and opportunities. So Linda will expertly do that as she moves ahead and make a variety and diverse events available for all.
You'll have a menu, just like you have a menu.
Exactly.
When you go anywhere else. Linda, I'm curious, from these new participants, after they go see something, is there any kind of a survey that's sent to them to get a little bit of feedback, not only on what they saw, but how the program has worked and what do they think about it?
Absolutely. We're hungry for feedback. And so we probably overdo it a little bit with the surveys. But we do have surveys that our participants, our patrons that take advantage of the program can complete. And we actually send that to them in their monthly newsletter. They get a monthly drop newsletter letting them know what's coming up in the program, and we survey them through that newsletter. We also survey our ambassadors and our arts organizations because we want to keep learning what works, what needs to be tweaked. And so we survey those folks who participate with us in the program on a regular basis also. And that's really helped us, make some different decisions about the program and to move along, we think, smartly.
Well, it's a drop, but it's a big ripple, right? From what you're doing.
We certainly hope.
Mm-hmm. And it's so exciting. So if folks are interested in the program, they should go to ArtsKC.org, and then there's the drop somewhere right there, easily accessible, so they can find out more.
It is, yes.
Yes.
Well, congratulations to ArtsKC and doing another initiative that, brings the arts to so many people in Kansas City and those who may not have ever been exposed. So kudos to you all, and thank you for spending time with us to share all the good stuff.
All right. Thank you for having us.
We appreciate you.
Thank you. And thank you for joining us for KC Cares, Kansas City's nonprofit voice. We're produced by Charitable Communications, which is also a nonprofit. This KC Cares segment was brought to you by the Ewing Marion Kauffman Foundation, www.kauffman.org. Well, if you would like to be a guest on KC Cares or underwriting opportunities for the work we do, visit our website, which is kccaresonline.org, and spread the love. You'll find us on Facebook and Twitter at KC Cares Radio and on Instagram at KC Cares Online. And don't forget, you can catch us on Saturday mornings at 8 a.m. on ESPN 1510 AM and 94.5 FM. Thank you for joining us on KC.